It's coming through.
Website? I created one for our startup using Wix.
Hello.
Yes, a lot of you who are not new to this channel know who Zack is. Motormouth Canada, formerly Driving Television. We'll talk about that in a second. And of course, in Sweet and Sour, right? So,
wait.
Okay, all right.
What's with the glasses?
These, what do you think? Bono, right?
Yeah, you look like Bono.
I don't wear glasses, but I don't wear glasses. But what I'm trying these out, and I have a problem with dry eyes. So these are moisture capture glasses. So check it out. See this here? So this is a little silicone type of a wrapper that goes on these glasses, and they kind of seal your eyes in so your tears don't evaporate as quickly as regular glasses. And also handy if you have allergies. I think they might be handy for outdoor things like bike riding and things like that. Just trying them out. So,
all right.
Hey, look at we have a comment from Kyron Baxter. Hi, Kyron. This is thanks for commenting. This is our very first time. We actually tried to do this yesterday. I'm at home, as you can see. The kids are here, and it didn't work yesterday. So yeah, good to see that everything's going well. So those who know Zack, Driving Television, tell us what happened, Zack. You are no longer with Driving Television now. What happened to you? Where'd you go?
Well, I moved over to motoring on TSN. As you know, Brian, we started Driving Television 17 years ago, maybe longer than that when we did the pilot season. And Brian and I have been working together all those years. So it's a kind of sweet and sour at the same time, is that I got offered a chance to go and join the motoring TV crew. They've been on for twice as long as us. They've been on for 32 years on TSN. And, it was just an opportunity to move to a different show and to try something new. And, the biggest regret I have is I don't get to work with you as much, but we still, up until recently have traveled together and stuff. So you cover it for your channel and for Driving TV, and I cover it for my channel and Motoring TV. So you can't get rid of me that easily.
Yeah, and for people that are fans of Driving Television, it is still on. However, in April, we are not on because during our time slot, we have been preempted by the Prime Minister's speech every day, pretty well every day at the same time, right? So, yes. And this is, we got a question from Delta Echo Echo, and they ask, hi, is Driving Television still going? Well, yes, it is. So we will be back on the air in May. So we're taking a little bit of a break.
Delta Echo, by the way, chimes in on my live chat.
Yes.
By the way, on my channel, Motormouth, we do this 3 times a week for an hour.
Yeah.
Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. So tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, Delta Echo might be back.
Yeah, and I recommend everyone that is especially into all the intricacies and all the business end of it of cars, go to Zack's channel. He knows pretty well everything. You've been doing it for what, like basically 3 decades now, right? So a long time.
Yeah, 92 I started reviewing cars, so it's almost 30 years.
Yeah, wow.
It's 10, I can't believe it.
Yeah. So, it's been probably like 5 weeks since this isolation has started. Let's say, for the COVID-19. What have you been doing to keep yourself busy? Are you still reviewing cars?
Well, the car availability is severely limited.
Yeah.
A lot of the companies pulled their cars off the fleet. So getting them when I can. Good thing is I got a bunch of stuff banked. But yeah, still doing that. But everything else is paused. All the business is paused. We're not producing any shows for motoring. Excuse me. All my other contracts are paused. So it sucks, to be honest with you. And, as you know, Brian, we travel so much together. We're on the road probably a third of the year. So I try to figure it out. I think I think I spend, not with you, but I'm in a hotel room about 100 nights a year. Um, so yeah, gone a lot. So this is a real adjustment since the last trip we went on was the Corvette launch, right?
Actually, well, there's a Volkswagen, the Atlas Sport Cross.
Yeah, but where we had to fly somewhere. Yeah,
That's
so
right.
that was
Yeah.
up at Whistler. That was the last one. But so when was the Corvette? That was in January or February. So yeah, we have had very little travel time this year.
Well, and we were supposed to be in Geneva,
Mm-hmm.
and we
Yeah,
were
the
supposed to
Geneva
be
Motor
in
Show,
New York Auto Show as well,
New York Auto
right?
Show, and I was supposed to go to Munich for an Audi e-tron event and a whole like I mean, as you know, or well, you know, but maybe our viewers don't, is that would typically get invites every single week for upcoming events. And
Hmm.
sometimes, in 1 week, there might be 5 or 6 events. Now, you can't go to all of them. You might be able to go 2 of them. I think the most we ever did in 1 week was 4. Didn't we go
That was
California?
it was insane. That was crazy. Like that was the
We
one
went to
time
4
only.
events. Yeah. We did California. We did British Columbia. We did, I don't know, something else. We did 4 events in 1 week. But yeah, so you can't be everywhere. So it's a real adjustment to not be traveling, which is a big part of what we do. But also a nice thing is that, spending time at home, getting stuff done around the house. You've got your girls there keeping you busy. So it's different. It's just different. That's the thing.
Yeah, no, like we're not getting, the first hand look at the cars when they first launch, um, which is unfortunate. But we have a couple more comments. First of all the best, sweet and sour from Evan Katz from New York City. I hope everyone's staying safe in New York. It's a tough one over there. And motoring, there's a question for you, Zach. You see that there?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah. Motoring TV, there's this cranky man with a segment always complaining. Can you get him to stop complaining? Well, that's his whole thing. It's Jim Kenzie's Corner. It's like his rant. Remember on Driving TV, we did Zach's rant for a little while.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah. Yeah, I see some of the similar people on my live show as well. That's interesting.
Yeah, can we tell you where the cars are built? Yeah, we can definitely give a shot at that. And what's the deal with BMW pricing? X3M is basically $30,000 more in the UK than in Canada. Well, that's
Yeah, but you
tariffs
know
and
what?
taxes.
I would suggest that's got nothing to do with BMW. That's everything. Like my family lives in the UK. Other than my brother, my 2 brothers, my dad in Toronto, everybody's in Scotland, and I see what they pay for cars. Like the perfect example is what we pay in Canadian dollars, they pay for in pounds for like a Honda Civic, right? So where we would pay $20,000 for a Honda Civic, they pay 20,000 pounds. So yeah, it's way more expensive.
Just playing around with a few of these settings here. Oh boy, what happened there? We've got 3 of us now. Oh, hang on. Sorry. There we go. We're back. Back to that one. So what are you testing nowadays right now?
We have the Hyundai Palisade and the GMC Sierra with the Duramax inline 6-cylinder diesel. Have for a while. So when they brought out the full-size trucks from General Motors, the Silverado and the Sierra last year, they didn't have the diesel, and they didn't have the composite bed made of composite materials. So we got 2 of the 3. So now we get the new truck, we got the new engine, but it doesn't have the composite bed. But you know me, I love diesels and I love them in trucks, so it's a pretty powerful engine. So I'm enjoying that. And then Andrea is kind of driving the Palisade. We're going to do a review.
Yeah, we're just showing some of the images here. I tested that with the family. What a great vehicle. Palisade and that Telluride, the new Telluride is great as well.
All right, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
The last guy to get the Highlander before they stopped giving the cars out was you with the new Highlander. You have the previous Highlander. I think that the Telluride and the Palisade are the top vehicles in this segment. Does the new Highlander eclipse them, in your opinion?
Here's my review up here. Well, there you go. As you can see, I've got the old and the new, and there's two Brians up there as well, as you can see. Oh, and anyways, sorry, I had you muted there. And yeah, you know what? The new Highlander, it's great in styling. As you can see, it's got the same power plant, so. But the benefit of the Highlander is you can get it in a hybrid, which you cannot get with the other two, right?
That's fine. But if someone's
Right?
just looking for a straight gas one, and most people are looking for a straight gas one, I think
Yeah,
these two are hard to beat. And the Telluride just won the World Car of the Year.
I know. And you know, I'm not sure. I have to look back on my Telluride review. I might have called this last year. I think, you know, if I didn't, I know I was thinking of it, or I was telling other people, you wait, you watch. This thing is going to win awards left and right because it's an. I think I like the Telluride better than the Palisade. What do you think?
I do. Here's a perfect example. Andrea thinks the Palisade looks better, and I like the Telluride better. I just think it looks cooler, and it's a male-female thing.
Exactly the same thing. I actually had Cynthia pick up the Palisade for me, and she came home. She's like, "Wow!" And I had just had the Telluride. And I'm like, "You like this better than the Telluride?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I'm total opposite. So I agree. Island Merchandise says Kia resale is not as good.
No, but the thing is, it takes, and I know that building residual value, which is what we call it in the industry, like the retained or residual value after 3 or 4 years, which often is where leasing comes into play, right? Takes decades and decades to build up. And some brands, you know this perfectly well, Brian, your brother is a business manager at a BMW dealership. You've owned many BMWs. I have as well.
Yep.
They actually have such high residual value, which is how they get people into their leases so cheaply. So it takes a long time to build that residual value up. But winning World Car of the Year, having the #1 brand for quality from J.D. Power, I think 2 or 3 years in a row, it will slowly come up over the years for sure.
Yeah, and generally the Korean brands are a little bit less expensive as well. So you're not putting in as much as you're taking out either. So it's like you get what you put in, right? So
yeah, but and I know that most people buy a payment. They don't really buy a car, and it's how much you can get for your monthly payment. So for a vehicle like this, I'm guessing it's going to be $500 roughly plus a month. So what can you get for $500? By the way, somebody's asking, are you going to Grand Moon Palace in December? Can you bring Zach with you? So I will just say something, because Brian on this channel does aviation. He does his love affair with Grand Moon Palace. He does cars, he does tech, he does all that kind of stuff. You have been talking my ear off every time we're together about how much you love Grand Moon Palace in Mexico and how I should go with my kids and blah, 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 blah. Is Grand Moon Palace off now, or is there going to be any travel?
Well, I did book in December, by the way, Island Merchandise. I booked for middle December for, I think, 12 nights. Yeah. And, I think that I'm pretty safe at this point right now. If you were booked for May or June, I don't know about that. Because right now they're closed down. They have closed down for, they said, I believe till May 1st. But, everything's all going to compact in the second half of the year. Things are going to get really busy. I think December is still going to be okay. I think. I'm hoping. I'm really hoping. And I think that everyone's going to really, really love having a holiday after this isolation.
If anybody's got any money, how are you going to afford that place? It's a freaking fortune.
Well, I booked a long time ago. I booked like last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you know what? Your kids are free. You should bring them.
There's no such thing as free, Brian. How much is it a night?
It is
in peak season. Say you went in February. How much is it a night?
Let's say it's $400 a night.
U.S. dollars.
U.S. dollars.
Yeah, that's not free, dude.
That's not per person. That is for the room, including that's 2 people and 2 kids. And kids, they classify under 17.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's not bad. That's not bad.
It's not free.
Nothing's free. Nothing's free.
Like I just said, nothing's free.
So Have you been finding a lot of people watching your channel? Motormouth. How are your views been doing during this COVID-19?
Well, I have been emailing back and forth to Google, to YouTube, because something's going on with their algorithm, and they're I don't know. It's down, and it shouldn't be at this time of the year, especially with everybody being home. What is doing well are the live chats. They have become quite popular, but I don't know with Google generally, with YouTube, their algorithm changes, and we've been through this before. I mean, it's been almost 10 years that I've been doing YouTube.
Yep.
We've had highs, we've had lows. This too will change, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well,
What about
what I'm hoping, it's kind of like leveled off. It's about the same. I'm kind of disappointed that it hasn't actually grown because a lot of people have a lot more time right now. I do have to say though, if you are spending more time on YouTube, depending on if you're watching my channel, Zach's channel, doesn't matter. Any channel that you're watching to pass the time, um, make sure you give them a sub. Even watch a commercial because that might give like a penny to that person's pocket, right? It doesn't cost you anything, right? It doesn't not cost a cent to go on YouTube or to subscribe, right? I don't know. That's what I think, right?
how long have I known you, Brian?
Well, we started working together about 18 years ago.
And I just went onto your channel now, and I just realized I wasn't a subscriber. So I just hit the subscriber button.
Oh, so we have another question here from HN Vancouver. Second gen Lexus IS requires premium fuel. Does it have the tech to adjust for regular? Let's ask Zach that. Zach?
I don't know off the top of my head. I would say it probably. Well, it's easy. Just look in the owner's manual or look online. If it says premium fuel recommended, means you should put in the premium gas. It will compensate for regular fuel. All cars that have premium fuel recommended will run on regular, and this is done for times when you're in the middle of nowhere and you running out of gas and you're at a truck stop and they don't have premium fuel. You can just put in regular and your car will run. The computer can compensate for that. However, I wouldn't do it long term. And if the engine is designed for premium fuel, if it says premium fuel recommended, that's what you should put in. The opposite is true. If your car doesn't require or doesn't request premium fuel, save your money. I see, I put in premium gas. Why? It's a waste of money. So off the top of my head, I don't know which IS it is, if it's the 3.5 liter, if it's the Turbo 4. So go with what Lexus recommends. I have 93 cents. I saw it today. That's and then one was 93 and the one on the other side of the street was 91. But I have never seen it below 90 cents in the city of Vancouver.
These are good times, but nowhere to drive and nothing to drive. That's the problem.
Yeah. Somebody put on Facebook. They said, "Oh yeah, all the big cell phone companies are waiving roaming fees." It's like, yeah, well, we can't go anywhere.
Yeah, so, that's a whole thing. I think the who's making the money nowadays right now are the food delivery apps. That they're just making a killing right now, and I'm kind of disappointed in them because they haven't actually stepped up to reduce their rates. Because I don't know if anyone knows this, but when you use like Skip the Dishes and Uber Eats and things like that, they charge the restaurant like up to 25 to 30% of the actual bill. Do you realize that?
I actually heard that they have reduced that fee.
And with other restaurants, they're nothing, right? They need the restaurants, and these restaurants are absolutely dying right now. So if you have an option to actually go pick it up, it is definitely a better option than using one of those services. If there's no way you can do it, then use it. You'll still support the restaurant.
But I've heard that they like Skip the Dishes and all that, and Uber Eats have lowered their fee.
Have you? Okay, I have not heard that.
But yeah, if you could just order directly from them and go pick it up, that's the way to do it because they get all the money.
So I'm just going to show you
You know what would be a good business right now, Brian? Pizza.
What?
You have a pizza joint. Because first of all, pizza already has the built-in delivery. That's the first delivery service we've ever had for food. Pizza. Yep. So that's already established. It's pretty cheap to make pizza, right? It's pretty cheap to buy pizza. So it's one of those, you're sick and tired of cooking and you want to have something and have it delivered. Pizza is a good way to go. So I think people who own pizza places are probably doing just fine right now.
I said that to my wife the other day. It's like their business has just been booming, like crazy booming. Are you guys ordering out a lot?
Ordering in, you mean?
Or well, yeah, ordering in.
Yeah, no, we don't order in a lot. Jack does skip the dishes or Uber Eats once in a while for lunch as a treat. Yeah. Lunch, by the way, which is also named breakfast because they don't get up until noon. my youngest son, what time did he get up today? 2. They're not going to bed till 3 in the morning, though.
Wow.
Remember those days, Brian, when you used to stay up till 3 in the morning?
Well, I still do. It's just now I have to wake up earlier now. Island Merchandise, I love all these questions, by the way. Can we do more tire reviews? Well, I've never done a tire review. I've had the opportunity a couple times. Zach, you've done a few. And you also want to see me unpack that BMW M bicycle in the trunk. Is that for real? And yes, it is for real. Unfortunately, I don't have that bicycle. It's my brother's. He works for BMW, and it does fold up. You can. It's really cool. It's not a very comfortable bike to ride, though. What's that?
I thought you were getting one of those BMW bikes.
No, I have a BMW e-bike. But what Island
How many miles on that, Brian? How many miles on the e-bike?
I probably have about 100K on it, maybe.
Just so everybody knows, Brian likes to collect things and order things and have things. No, not necessarily use them.
I am the ultimate consumer. There
you're good for the economy.
So, we were talking about what you had for the vehicle, and you have the Sierra. Well, I'm just going to throw up a video here just to show the Silverado that I tested last year, and that was going up to Tuktoyaktuk, the Arctic Circle. Oh, yeah. Now, we discussed this earlier on, Zach, because, Silverado, Sierra, pretty well, the same thing. But they do have a 4-cylinder option. It's a 2.7-liter turbo 4-cylinder. It really is. Check it out.
That's what I would call a compliance car. That is strictly a vehicle that they make for fuel efficiency and compliance with emissions. Nobody's buying it.
Yeah, but it sounds pretty ridiculous. But it is possible. Also, whoever's watching or comment later on, let me know what you think of this format for this live stream, because it's obviously you can see it's Ecamm Live. This is a trial version. I didn't want to spend the money on it, and I wanted to try it out. And yeah, I'm just learning, and I think it's kind of neat. We got different options. We can. There's Zach. There's camera 2. We got camera 3 here. And we can do all sorts of different things. What do you think about it, Zach?
I think it's pretty good. I mean, for this format, for doing like interviews and stuff, it's great. I would suggest for for a single camera, it's maybe not worth it, but yeah, if you're going to have an interview,
it might be a little overkill.
It's like I'm on CNN or something, or BNN or.
So I just picked up a vehicle yesterday, and here it is. It's the new Nissan Sentra. And I got to tell you, they really upped their game on this one. This is like no other Sentra that you've seen. I'm comparing this. It's like a little mini Maxima. So, it's
now, wait a second. Let's just hold it for a second. I get this car next week, by the way.
Yeah.
After you've driven it, they have to decontaminate it from you, and then I get it. But saying it's a small Maxima is kind of faint praise. How many Maximas have they sold?
Yeah, maybe because they're too big.
Well, that's true. I think
here's a mini one.
It looks like what Honda should have updated the Civic to look like. You know, the
Yes.
current Civic is really kind of sporty looking. That's
Yeah,
a nice looking car.
it is. It's so the one I have. This is the B-roll. The one I have is the two-tone. It's the two-tone white and black. So it kind of remember, that the Camry XSE, the white and black one, has that
Yeah.
kind of a look. It's great. It's a great looking car. I'm just kind of disappointed. I wish they had a more sporty version, like an SER version of it. So across the board, same engine, same transmission, same everything. So yeah, a sport version would be nice. So
Yeah. But you remember, okay, Brian, you remember back in the day having a Honda Civic, a Toyota Corolla, and a Nissan Sentra. They were all kind of equal, remember?
Yeah.
And then as time went along, the Sentra just faded away to obscurity. Like it wasn't even in the same conversation. And then Mazda came out with the Protege, and then the Mazda 3, and that kind of moved in. And then Hyundai brought out the Elantra, and then that moved into the sort of discussion. And in that time, that Sentra just fell right out of the discussion. It wasn't even in consideration. And that's the problem car brands have, is when you're shopping for cars in that class, if it doesn't even get into consideration, it's dead, right?
Yeah.
Like right now, they're trying to resurrect that car from the dead. Nobody thinks of Sentra.
And they've done a really, really good job. I hope that they actually accomplish something with it. It's a great looking vehicle. Glenn, you say that when I cut to the video feed, my audio cuts out for a second. Yes, I realized that because I had to set up these macros to put the videos up, and when they actually mute our audio when they go up, so I actually have to manually unmute us when I do it. So if I do this again, I'll make sure I don't unmute us. Are you reading here this, Zach, about the Stingers? Heavily discounted in the used market. Why do people not like them? I like the Stinger. I really like the Stinger.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to remind you about the Stinger. When we were at the launch in California, you pointed out you didn't like all the plastic trim pieces on it.
I didn't like the chrome. I didn't like the chrome on the sides. I said if I owned it, I would actually have a body color, or I would paint it black or something like that. I did not like that. It looked a little bit on the tack.
And the hood accents that didn't do anything. And there were some extra pieces around the back. You thought it was too busy.
It was, but it's a great car though. It's fun to drive. I think it's priced right.
You know, I had an Audi A7. It was our last car, and it's very similar in size, function, big hatch, all that kind of stuff. I didn't love the way it drove. I'd take the G70 for that, hands down, any day of the week.
Yeah, so it's probably the G70. How about the new SUV, the GV80? Coming out.
Yeah.
That's hot.
Well, I'm driving the Palisade this week, and I mean driving the top Palisade. And the last time I drove the Palisade was at the launch in Idaho. So it's been a while since I drove it, almost a year. And I'm thinking to myself, if this is what they're able to do with the Hyundai, and I've seen the Genesis, but haven't driven it, it should be pretty spectacular. And that's going to have a 3.5 liter turbo.
I talked to someone that actually saw that GV80 in person.
Yeah, I saw it in person.
Pardon me?
I saw it in person.
You saw it. Maybe it was you.
Yeah.
Were you mentioning?
What did they say, Brian?
What's that?
What did the person say about it?
The person said the craftsmanship and just the detail in even the rear compartment, the cargo compartment, was top notch. Was that you?
I think it was me. Yeah. It was all of the details about, like, you know, when you lift up the trunk of an Audi and the sill along there is all chrome, right? And there's around the button for the switch at the back, there's chrome. They have soft touch close on covers even in the third row. I mean, the lower parts of the door, the bottom of the door cards, you know, I always complain about them being hard plastic.
Yep.
With the EV80, there's soft touch materials. Just looks and feels first rate.
Okay, we have another question here. Yeah, I do know about the no audio on the cam. We have Vishwa. We should try Zoom. Yes, I found about Zoom about a month before this coronavirus. Now everyone's using Zoom now, right? Even schools are using Zoom. I've just tried this program, this Ecamm Live, because I'm not familiar with the Zoom, and this one seemed really easy. I don't know, but maybe I should try Zoom. Have you tried Zoom, Zach?
We did a family chat just kind of for fun, but no, I haven't used it. Other than that,
Does Zoom integrate into YouTube Live? Do you know that? So
I use a
maybe
different system because
maybe
I'm using a
this,
different camera and everything. I use a
yeah.
system called OBS.
This way you can actually maybe comment on that if you know if it works on YouTube. Someone's at the door. Yeah, it's over 100 million. Oh no, sorry. Hold on, actually, Vishwa and Ivan have said the same thing. 2016 BMW 535. What are your thoughts? Well, I've never owned a 5 Series. You have though.
Yeah, not that generation, but okay, I'll push it back to you because the 535 is the inline 6-cylinder with the turbo, which you had in your car.
Love it.
And didn't you have a friend that bought a 535? You had a friend who bought one. Your friend in Richmond.
That's right. Yeah. The motor's a great motor.
Yeah, the motor is the best, one of the best. And I always say to people, if you haven't ever tried an inline 6-cylinder turbo and the higher performance models, you owe it to yourself to try because it really is. I think it's one of the best engines ever made.
I think we'll take a couple more questions. Do you think there will be more EVs and gas-powered cars on the roads in about 15 to 20 years? Well, you know what? I think that's a realistic time frame. I think. I don't know. You're shaking your head.
No. How many? Listen. All right. There's two ways to look at this, right? What's the percentage of electric car sales now of new cars?
1-2%.
Yeah. And in the United States, the percentage of electric cars has actually gone down in the last year. Hasn't gone up, it's gone down. And their percentage is between 1 and 2%. So that's new cars, okay? And you take COVID-19 out of it. Between Canada and the United States, we were set to sell 20 million cars between Canada and the U.S., okay? So
Yep.
1 to 2% of that is not that big a number. But the bigger number, and here's a question I always say to people: what is the average age of a car on the road in Canada? Do you know?
I'm gonna say 12 years.
Yeah, it's over 10 years, roughly around 10 years old. Okay, so the cars that are purchased today, which is 98%, well, let's say, are internal combustion engines, will still be on the road in 10 years from now, right? We're not getting rid of them. And the fleet of cars that we have in North America isn't the 20 million new cars that are sold. It is a multiple way higher than that. So there are, in the United States, for example, there are more cars than people.
Yeah.
So there are over 330 million cars in the United States. And in Canada, we have, we're not quite at more cars than people, but we're getting close to that. So we'll say 30 million more. So that's 360 million cars that are on the road today, right? In between Canada and the United States. And we're replacing them at a percentage of 1 to 2% of the new cars. Well, there's not a chance in hell that we're in 10 to 15 years that we're going to replace all of those almost 400 million cars with battery electrics. It's just
Right.
straight.
Yeah. I get it. But
So
when are we going to see Zack Spencer with an EV owned and paid for out of your pocket?
My big thing is, you live in the suburbs. You got a big triple garage, actually, with a huge wide parking pad. You could have your electrician come and put a plug in there, no problem. You plug it in, you're in business by the end of the day. I live in the middle of the city, which is actually perfect for an electric car, but we park on the street. There's the front yard. Where are you going? Was it something I said?
No. I'm good. I'm here.
Are you getting a beer?
I am getting a beer. It's beer o'clock now.
Well, thanks for offering me one.
Well, no, you can crack
No,
one
and I
yourself.
would have got a beer.
There we go.
What were we talking about?
The EV and
Oh, well, I'm
suburbs.
going to get one. Yeah, so I live in the city, so I have my front yard, sidewalk, a little median there of grass, and then we park our car. So I can't run a cable across the sidewalk. And in the back, I have a little single garage, an old one, that is full of yard furniture and stuff in the winter. I would have to renovate my whole backyard, build either a new garage or put a parking pad and the whole thing. It would be thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars just to get an electric car. I don't want one like that.
You know, I'm gonna have to admit something. I don't know why. Maybe because my youngest is going out of daycare next year, and it's gonna feel like I'm getting a raise because daycare is so expensive, and they'll be both in regular school. And Cynthia, my wife, a lot of her friends have been getting Model 3s, and everyone loves them. I have never been in one or driven one, but it's intrigued me. It really has. I'm looking at a base model. I'm thinking, oh, okay, you're looking about $49,000 after all the rebates. I won't get you started there, but yeah, I don't know. It's everyone loves them, loves them.
Yeah, well, I can understand if you live in the suburbs and you're driving and you're spending $400 a month on gas, right? And you're getting a rebate from the government and you're using much cheaper electricity, it maybe makes sense for you. But for me, we live in the middle of the city. We don't go. My car is in getting serviced right now. They're doing a software update on it. The guy said to me, "Do you even drive this thing? It's 2 years old. How many kilometers does it have on it? Yes.
2 years old. You have 20,000.
16,000.
Wow. Yeah.
That's 8,000 kilometers a year. I barely drive the thing.
That's quite a bit.
And
That's quite a bit.
No, it's nothing.
Now, what if yours? Well, mind you, you have a diesel, so you're set. You love that. You love that diesel, right? So yeah, there's no reason for you to go EV, and yeah, but I wouldn't complain either if I had a Cayenne either. So you must love it.
You get one.
Your thoughts on Scotty Kilmer, please. I don't know who Scotty Kilmer is. Do you know
Scotty
who Scotty Kilmer
is? This cranky, stupid YouTube guy that says that everything is a piece of crap and you shouldn't buy anything except what Scotty Kilmer says. Well, first I want to say Scotty Kilmer has some valid points about certain brands. Oh, nice glasses. Some valid points about certain brands, but some of the stuff he's just basically biases from years ago. Car companies are getting much better and improving quality, and everything that he says is crap isn't crap. Some of the stuff he says is crap. But yeah, all I have to say is look at Scotty Kilmer's garage to see what kind of immaculate mechanic he is. Not so much.
Okay.
If you Google him, Brian, you'll know who he is.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Would you buy a Volkswagen Arteon? This is a good one because remember we were one of the very first people. Well, we drove a European Arteon to Wolfsburg, to the homeland, and I was pretty impressed. That thing was so smooth on Autobahn too. That was
I
great.
like the Arteon. It's, in my opinion, it's $10,000 too expensive, which brings in the second part of the question. They are heavily discounted now. Hey, if you can get a heavy discount on an Arteon and a killer lease or whatever, or zero interest or whatever, yeah, why not? It's you're paying a bit of a premium for it over, say, a Stinger. But if it was between the two, between the Stinger and the Arteon, I think I would go Arteon. Even though it's down in horsepower, it's just I just like the look of it better.
It has a more mature look.
Yeah.
Coming back to,
it's not trying as hard.
Yeah. There's a question for Brian. Any good deals on the Grand? And Zach, you can listen in on this for sure. I've set up for look on their website and check there instead of going through packages and see if you can get a good deal on airfare and just package it separately. If you book more than 7 days.
Can you put in the promo code Chow Time or Everyday Reviews?
Well, the Grand, a lot of people have watched my videos on the Grand at Moon Palace. They are not sponsored. They have not paid for me to be there, and they should, because so many people have actually booked because of these videos, and I'd like to to reward those people by giving them a discount. But I don't think they have a problem selling their rooms, so they're not interested at this point.
Well, they might now.
Yeah, well, maybe. Am I ever going to review mirrorless cameras? Well, I am using one right now. I have the Sony A7 Mark III, and I also have that Zach has a Lumix, a GH4.
Yeah, it's right here. The great thing about Brian Chow is he likes to buy things, and then I learned. I say, "Hey, can I borrow that?" And like years later, I still have it.
That's a nice camera, though.
You know what? You know this. I'm crazy about watches, right? And the only thing I really use this for is doing close-up shots of watches. It's great for that, and this lens is great.
It's a nice size. It's a nice size.
I'll put it on the IOU list.
Yeah, well, it's not like I've actually tried to sell it to you either. So,
wait a second. This is cool. This is cool. You'll like this. So this is. Can you see that?
Yeah.
That is a early 1950s Nikon rangefinder camera. So it's not an SLR. You don't look through the lens. You look through the rangefinder here.
Wow.
And So this is a 1 point. Let me see. What is it? A 1 point? Yeah, 1.4 lens. 1.4. A Nikkor 1.4. So I got to go to Japan with Mitsubishi. Remember a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
And Mitsubishi owns Nikon. I didn't know that. So we got to go to the Nikon Museum. This is the third camera that Nikon ever made. They started making cameras in 1948, and this camera came out in the early 50s. It's called an S2. Now, Brian, you know this. Like, look at this. This camera has a black body.
Yep.
And black body, do you remember what that meant years ago?
Pro,
right?
Yep.
So if you were a pro photographer, you had a black body camera. This is the very first black body camera. This was only sold to professionals. If you work for a newspaper or you work for a magazine, one of the famous Time magazine photographers shot a lot with this camera. So you couldn't go into a store and buy it. It had to be, and that's what started the whole black body pro was this camera. So
I think it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful piece.
My dad gave this to me for my birthday a few years ago.
Wow.
He bought this in probably around 1967 at Henry's Cameras on Yonge Street in Toronto. And he went in there, and the guy says, "Buy this camera. You'll never regret it." And all of the pictures of me and my brother when we were kids were taken with this. And he gave it to me because he knows I'm into photography.
Is that the same Henry's that is around today still? That the same Henry's?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, and it was just one store. Now check this bad boy out. Do you know what that is? Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
That's an original Nikon F from the late 60s, early 70s. And this you could drive nails with it. This whole cube comes off the top.
What's that? Is that a 51.4 on it?
No, this one you could get them. This isn't a 1.4. This one is a 2, but you could get faster lenses than 2. This is kind of like the kit lens with it, but yeah, there were other faster lenses. But yeah, Nikon F, like these two Nikons are part. You know me, I love Nikon because I started to learn to shoot on these.
Have you ran any film through those?
You know what I did? This is the stupid thing. I was winding this the other day and it wouldn't advance. And then I thought, oh, something's not right with it. So what did I do? I opened it up. What's in there?
Film.
A roll of film.
Ah.
So I have to get a roll of film. This one actually needs to be serviced. You can hear that. Can you hear that?
Yeah. You know what's so funny? I put my ear to the computer, but meanwhile, I'm listening through my headpiece.
Yeah, Henry's has been around forever. Now I just go to Brian's camera now.
Yeah, that is a nice camera. The Panasonic makes some really, really good stuff. But it's funny how what you said about Nikon though and Mitsubishi, because until you told me, I did not realize everything that Mitsubishi does or owns, including Nikon. They make rockets or something, right?
They what?
I think they make rockets. They
They
make
make
rockets.
rocket boosters. They make a commercial jet that rivals Embraer and well, it used to be Bombardier, sort of a regional jet. I think they had their maiden voyage with it last year. They also own Kirin Beer.
Wow.
They make just like a lot like Bombardier. They make trains. They make a lot of things. They make those air conditioning units that you see put into older buildings. You know, when you go to Japan and you see all those air conditioning units on everybody's balcony, or in China, a lot of those are Mitsubishi.
Okay, so this couple more questions. This has to be for you, Zach, because you know me, I don't drive a lot of Audis. So, what are your thoughts about the Audi Q5 2016, 2 or 3 liter? What's more reliable?
I don't think there's much difference in the reliability of it. It's a great car. I think it's just like it's like I always call it like the best all rounder. My piece of advice to anybody who's shopping for a compact luxury car right now is please do yourself a favor and buy or try the ones that are just one size smaller. Like you like the XC40, I love the XC40, but the new Q3, in my opinion, is a better value proposition in car overall than the Q5, and it doesn't feel that much smaller. So if you're not needing it for kids and strollers and diaper bags or all that kind of stuff, or you've got big, tall, huge teenagers, whatever it is, try it out. If you can get by with the size of the Q3, I think the Q3 is a great car.
Well, I'm actually going to be getting an SQ5 to test for a week in a couple weeks.
Yeah, no, the SQ5, and if it was between those two and the budget was not constrained, SQ5 would win every day of the week because power is better, of course, all of that kind of stuff. It's like buying a base model Macan or a Macan S. Which one would you like? Everybody would like more power, right?
Yeah, and then DOD Flyer, it's $1.37 here. Where do you live? I'm assuming this is for your fuel for per liter. Is that per liter or per gallon?
137. It might be 137
per gallon, maybe.
No, it could be in Europe.
Oh,
137
yeah,
right? 137 in the morning.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. See, new to this live stream stuff. Okay, so
so the other day on my live stream, I had somebody from Spain, somebody from Ireland, and somebody from Israel. That's pretty cool.
That is really cool. It's a global thing here. Idea for Zach, a detailed example of car lease math. I think there was another question about Car Cost Canada on here as well. Did you see that one at all?
Yeah, I was reading about that. We were talking about the RTON and deals, and as you know, Car Cost Canada sponsors
here it is, right here.
Service. Yeah, so if you're looking for a car, go to Car Cost, and you're in the Canadian market, go to carcostcanada.com. Use the promo code MotorMouth, Brian. Use that promo code. You become an expert member. It opens up more searches, and you can look for things like what kind of deals are there on an RTON. There you go.
Yeah. So what's on the horizon for you in the next couple months? Any trips planned at all?
I'm cutting the grass. I power washed the deck. I painted my son's bedroom. I have to clean up beside the house. I got some junk up next to the house I got to clean out. Stuff like that. That's what I'm going to be doing, Brian. We're not going anywhere. There were no car trips. There's nothing. It's all canceled. So that's what I'll be doing.
This is what I've been doing a lot here. Yeah, that's a homemade pasta, and I've been cooking a lot, and I've been baking a lot even. Of course, it's very popular baking right now. Been using my cameras for some other things, like some food. By the way, the camera that I use is the Sony A7 Mark III, I believe, Delta Echo, you're wondering. Also that, as well as a Sony EX3. I had a Sony FS5 that I just recently sold. And I had a GH4 that Zach has. And, GoPros and Osmos and drones. Oh, man, it's never ending. It's never ending. You can't keep up. Watch check. What's watch check?
You try, Brian.
Watch check. I'm assuming is that your channel? Is that your watch channel? Watch check.
No, Brian, you got to get up to speed on what this means. Watch check is wristwatch check. What are you wearing on your wrist?
Well, you see, I don't know these. Okay, thank you. Watch check.
Okay. You all right? Now, before you do that, you know who Archie Luxury is, right?
Yes, I do, because of you.
I got Brian. Well, you don't really like him, but I would send you clips of Archie Luxury going off. And Archie Luxury was the original YouTuber about wristwatches. And if you were watching videos about wristwatches 10 years ago, he was the only game in town. He's from Australia. He swears like a drunken sailor, and he goes crazy. And so I would send you these clips, like Archie's in fine form today. But since that, anybody that does watch videos on YouTube, they all have to pay homage to the Pontiff, as we call it.
Really?
He is Archibald Chesterfield III. And he came up with something called the wristwatch check. And every single YouTuber that does YouTube videos, I don't do it, but a lot of people do it. They say, time for a wristwatch check. And they go like this, what are you wearing? And there you go. So he started all that, Archie Luxury. So what's your wrist?
I thought he was just, like he was just, I know he loved to swear, but I didn't know he was like one of the originators.
He was the granddaddy of YouTube videos for watches, for sure.
Okay, so watch check. I am wearing the latest generation 44 millimeter Apple Watch, and this is my first and only Apple Watch. And I have to say, this watch has lost me 12 pounds on the dad bod. That's right.
How does that work?
Because I want to complete all the circles every day.
So you basically follow the fitness guide on it.
Yeah. And it's like I'm trying, and yeah, it is good. It is good. It's a good piece. It's a good tech piece. But I also do. I have a few other watches.
You're gone. Your Swiss watch days are gone now, right?
No. But I haven't worn them since, though. But yeah, I do have a tag. I have a Mont Blanc, but nothing. What's your watch check today?
I am wearing a mid-70s Tudor Submariner called a Snowflake.
I do like that one.
You know that one. That's probably this is probably my favorite watch.
There, let's go to this one. There we go. I love the color. Well, I'm a big fan of blue, right? That is a nice watch.
So that's my favorite because same thing, because it's blue. I love blue.
So what year is that?
Quite collectible.
What year is that?
76.
76.
Yeah.
And how long have you had it for?
I bought this in 2010. 10 years.
10 years. So Ivan says Apple Watch is not a watch. No, it's not. It's a computer on your wrist. But I do have some automatic mechanical watches.
There are some guys that wear the Apple Watch on one wrist and their Swiss watch on their other wrist. I can't go there, I don't think.
I think it would be weird. It is amazing. I wonder how much processing power this has. Like, how many more times more powerful is this watch than the computers that sent the man to the moon? Right? On your wrist. And it's waterproof.
Okay, you said man on the moon. Archie Luxury, one of his favorite watches is the man on the moon.
And you have one of those.
A Speedmaster man on the moon. That's what he does. That's a little snapshot on what Archie Luxury does. So his number one piece of advice to anybody buying their first luxury timepiece is to buy a Speedmaster Professional, an Omega, the man on the moon watch.
Yeah.
No computers, Brian.
Yeah. Well, why do they not put the engine in the CX-9 in the Miata to make a Mazda Speed version? If they make it, it would sell like hotcakes.
I don't know.
Maybe weight, weight and balance. I'm thinking.
It's still the same engine. But they could, you know that they're all the same engine block, right? They just bore them out differently. The
I did
2
not know
liter and the
that.
2. Yeah. So the 2 liter and the 2.5 liter is the same block. So they just made the bore bigger, and it's actually done with a you know, a CNC machine. You know, they cut your countertop or with a granite or whatever. So they actually, the block comes along and they go and they drill it out. And one is the 2 liter, and the bigger one is the 2.5 liter. So the block is the same. What I think they should do is, instead of doing the 2.5 liter turbo, do a 2 liter turbo, the smaller engine, but turbocharge it. What do you think of that? But yeah, there's lots of opportunities, I think.
Do we film and edit yourself, and what equipment and software? Well, we use pretty similar stuff other than our cameras. You use a Canon, and I use Sony, but we both edit in Final Cut. And we both do everything ourselves. Unfortunately, it'd be great to have people to do it for you, but we don't do it. We have to do it ourselves.
When I was shooting the TV show, Brian was the camera guy.
Yeah.
And the editor. I would just show up and smile and then go home. Those were good days.
Yeah, now I have to do it all. I have to shoot, edit, and host it now. So, times have changed now. So, thanks, Zach.
Well, Island Merchandise says, please don't do that again. I guess that was the Man on the Moon.
Oh, really?
At the bottom, see?
Oh, yeah. Oh, and look at this. Another Russ Freed from New York. Sweet and sour. Sweet and sour is popular in New York, it seems. So, yeah. So I've had other questions. People are saying, hey, where's the sweet and sour? Well, right now we just don't have a lot of time to do it. Zach has a lot of projects on the go, not just motoring, but you got the Motor Mouth, as well as some other things too. Are you still doing the radio show?
No.
No?
No, not doing the radio.
Okay, well, Zach had a radio show as well, so yeah, you should all do an Xbox live stream with Forza Horizon. That's what someone said.
You don't want to play video games. That wouldn't be pretty. I would pretend that I'm doing it, and then I get my son to do it.
I would love, to have one of those setups for those racing sims, whatever, like the full-on sit down and all that stuff with the force feedback. But you know what? I would probably use it for a week, and then they would probably sit there. Either that, or I would get so hooked on it that I wouldn't get anything else done. And that's the problem with me. I have a very addictive personality.
I kind of thought your elliptical bike was, for just basically hanging clothes on, but you're using it now.
I am using it now. It did hang a lot of clothes for many years, though. You know what someone told me, though, and this is interesting, is that this is like about 3 weeks ago, they had said that they went to a gym equipment store, and the shelves were as empty as toilet paper aisles at Costco. Like, there's nothing left to sell in the gym industry. And another Brian that he said they were just about to sell. They have this super old treadmill. Like, it must be like 12 years old, and they were going to put it on Craigslist and sell it, and they were going for like $100. And then all this happened, and everyone wants to try to stay in shape now. That this thing is worth like $350 now. This old treadmill, because there is nothing. There's no stock out there. It's like trying to find yeast. Yeast is hard to find. I know. There's some jokes there.
You know what's interesting? They had the CEO of Walmart on the Today Show the other day, and they said, how have things changed during this COVID? And they said at first it was all about getting your toilet paper and getting your freezer full, and everybody went shopping. And now it's shifted to puzzles, games, electronics. Like you can't get a Xbox or any console anywhere. Most places are sold out. And hair dye.
Oh, really? Yeah, well.
Mostly for women, can't get to the salon, so they're trying it at home.
Let's go to a closer shot. Zach, I noticed your hair looks actually fairly trim. How is that? How is that possible?
I put a lot of product in it today, but it's getting.
This is getting pretty crazy here. Like, the mullet is starting. It's
my mother-in-law is a hairdresser her whole life, so we might have to break quarantine to get her to come over and cut the hair on the back deck or something. But yeah, it's getting serious.
Yeah, I might have to start actually cutting my own hair. I'm serious. It's getting pretty bad. So, anyways, I think we're gonna close it up pretty quick here. What do I have coming up next? Well, we have the Center coming up. I've got a suitcase review that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I've got a couple other travel reviews, but I'm not going to put them out right now because no one really wants to travel right now. So they're not really interested, right? You know, the Air Canada opened their signature suite in Vancouver, and I did a video on that. And that was just before everything just clamped down. They actually closed down 2 days after this launch, and they have not been open since. So it was really, really bad timing.
Well, here's a perfect example.
Nobody wants to watch it.
Here's how bad it is. I still have my Super Elite card from Air Canada on the thing they give. I haven't even taken it out yet. I have no use for it. my tags you put on your bags, they're still in there. I put them on the.
Yeah.
We're not going anywhere.
Yeah, well, so what do you have coming up so people can look forward to on your channel?
I have Palisade. I have the GMC Sierra Diesel. Let me just go on my phone here and look. I've got the Sentra. I've got the Bolt. I've got the Qashqai. I've got the Nissan Titan. I've got the Cadillac XT6. And I have Mazda 6 manual and a CRV. So lots of things coming up.
Oh, that's quite a bit. That is quite a bit. Oh, I do have to mention, I'm probably, I bet it's probably going to be canceled or postponed. But I was looking forward to, there's a launch coming up in July, I believe, for the new Toyota RAV4 Prime.
I know. Well, we're supposed to go to that, right?
Yeah. So it hasn't been canceled yet, but you know, I don't know. I don't know. So this is the very, very first live stream. I'm really appreciative for everyone that has chimed in here. So on your live stream, Zach, when you do it, like, do you go through all the questions? I kind of feel bad for leaving some on the table here. Well,
I get through as many as I can, and you know, you can't get to everybody. So what I always say is, sorry I didn't get to your question. I do read them all, and I'll be back to answer them the next time. So,
well, Joseph San's got 2017 GLA 45, 30,000 clicks on it, and thinking if he should trade it in or something else to maximize dollars. I don't know.
It's tough right now. I think that there's
2017. If you like it, I'd keep it.
Deals. You know, the GLA 45 is that's a little rocket.
It is a super rocket, man. It's like it's a hot hatch. It's not an SUV, I don't think. There's two more questions here. Been expecting financing rates to drop more than they have. Do you think Honda, Toyota will drop their rates, or just the usual companies like Chev, Hyundai, and Ford?
I think they'll all drop their rates. They're borrowing money at zero, pretty much. So I think that's how they can gin the market, is to get low interest rates for sure.
And the last one from Russ Freed, 2020 Subaru Impreza versus Hyundai Kona. This is interesting. 5-speed manual. Subaru is $18,000. Kona is $20,000. Oh,
this is easy for me. Kona.
Well, that thing sounds like hotcakes.
I don't love the Impreza power. It's just not powerful enough for me. If you can get by with that power, go for it.
Yeah,
I think the Kona, if you can get the 1.6 turbo, that's a really great idea.
I do have to admit, though, the last time we drove a Subaru together, which was two of them, the Outback and the Legacy, the new ones, they're nice. Those are good, but they're different class of vehicle.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyways, I think we are going to close it off here, and we have really, once again, thank you so much for joining us and leaving all those nice comments and questions. Thank you, Zach, for your time and
no problem.
Walking me through this brand new process here. And I hope that everyone stays safe and enjoys the rest of the week. Take care. Now do we finish.